For once, the A's are in a series where they're the big bad bullies.
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, A's fans. Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about your Oakland A's all year long, and this, the final year in Oakland. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. If you don't believe me, where's my lower third? That's right. You can call me Sully. I've been a baseball podcaster for a while now, and this is my sixth full season here at the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm also hosting every single day Locked On MLB. So for the next few months, actually, you can get 10 episodes a week with your pal Sully. That's free of charge. Follow us at Locked On A's on Twitter or whatever it's called now, and on Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. And if you're posting on any of those glorious sites, make sure to put that hashtag Everyday A's. We have an idea to listen to us every single day. And final piece of business, today's episode is brought to you by our good friends over at PrizePicks. The easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/lockedonmlb. Use code all lowercase lockedonmlb for a first deposit match up to $100. So here's how I'm going to do today's show, which is being dropped, I don't know, sometime on Wednesday. I am going to be covering the entire Chicago series. I normally do this with the weekend series, but I figured I was going to do this with the Chicago series as well. Makes it so I can, pack a little more punch in each episode. So I'm recording this. It is Tuesday afternoon. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday afternoon. And the A's won last night. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to record. We're going to go over Monday's game. Second segment, we're going over Tuesday night's game. And on Wednesday, we're going to be going over the finale. And chances are the A's are going to win this series because the A's won game one, and they are, and by the way, the A's right now, as of this recording, trail the Angels by 3 games. That, to me, that is the goal. Leapfrog the Angels. We should, along with the, where is it? The Cell t-shirt you see behind me, there should be a Leapfrog the Angels jersey made out that we can all wear and have fun with and show to our loved ones. Game one was played last night, and the A's won 5-1. And with that, the White Sox losing streak has reached a staggering 21 games. They haven't won a game since the All-Star break. And it was a little while since before that. In a few days, we are going to be approaching mid-August. And the White Sox are looking for their first win this month. If the A's sweep the White Sox, if that happens, and I'm host of Locked On A's, the White Sox would be a 90-loss team, and that's usually a benchmark for a bad team. They're going to lose 90 games. They will reach 90 wins before the midway part of August. That's borderline impossible. And if the A's want to leapfrog the Angels, they have to win the games they're supposed to win. And that means the White Sox. And look, we've all been there. We've all seen the A's be the punching bag. And, it's tough to feel like, yeah, we got the White Sox. We're going to punch them. Especially because they were bad before they traded everything that wasn't nailed down. And now they're really, truly bad. But, the A's, right now they're 20 games under 500. They, got to chip away at that. Just chip away with it. See if they can leapfrog the Angels. And yesterday, the White Sox started a kid named Kai Bush, 24 years old. Congratulations, Kai Bush. You've played at least one game in the major leagues. And that's more than some first-round picks can say. And yesterday, here, you got to give credit where credit is due to the A's. They scored 5 runs. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care if you're playing the Cub Scouts. You got to be able to score runs. And they did so with only one homer. They got a pinch hit homer from Lawrence Butler, and they took advantage of, bad pitching by the White Sox. A lot of walks at the beginning, which led to the Tyler Nevin sacrifice fly, and getting runners on base so Schumann can hit the 2-run single, and getting a runner on third. So once again, Schumann strikes out, but because of the error, the run comes in. These are the sort of things the A's have to do to win games. I don't care who you're playing. You got to be able to show that initiative. You got to be able to show that wherewithal to be able to say, I know they're a bad team. We got to beat them anyway. JP Sears, it's time to pad people's stats. And the one home run they got was off the bench, and Butler's been great. And so you had last night, Cameron got on base because of a walk. He came around to score. Butler came off the bench. He homered. They didn't get anything from Andujar. They didn't get anything from Rooker. They got anything from Langoliers. The A's only got 4 hits. 4. That's the same number the White Sox got. They got 4 hits and 5 runs. I like that, because what that means is they're taking advantage of gifts. They were walked 9 times. They amassed 9 walks. How many men did they leave on base? They left 8 men on base. They only batted 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. And yet they managed to push 5 runs across the plate. That's stuff you have to do. And JP Sears, I don't care who he's facing. It's a Major League Baseball team. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk. That's the stat that I like the most. 1 walk. If you're facing a team like the White Sox, you've got to let them beat you. Don't hand it to them. And in the end, that's the major difference. The A's got 4 hits. The White Sox got 4 hits. The A's had 1 walk and 9 strikeouts. The White Sox had 9 walks and a hit by pitch and a wild pitch. The White Sox, they're not good, but that's you're going to show up to a Major League game. There you go. So here's what the A's have to do. They can't show any mercy. We got to Cobra Kai this. Because they got to leapfrog the Angels. If that means making it a 23-game losing streak for the White Sox, so be it. Right now, Stripling is scheduled to pitch for the A's on the on the game going on Tuesday, and the White Sox have Cannon, Golan Globus Cannon. Jonathan Cannon is his name. And he pitched very well his last game. Jonathan Cannon pitched quite well, thank you very much, allowing 1 run over 7 innings against a good team, the Kansas City Royals. And the game before that, he pitched pretty well. He let up 2 runs in 6 innings against the Texas Rangers. So Jonathan Cannon is not a pushover. He's a rookie. You don't look at win-loss records, especially with a team like the White Sox, but he's a 4.11 ERA, which is not half bad. I was listening to the game on the radio the other day, and evidently the White Sox have not won a single game all year where they were trailing after 6. No big come-from-behind wins for this. Jump on him early. Put him behind. Or go right for the bullpen. Either way, time for the A's to show a little something. Just win this series. Win this series today and maybe go for the sweep on Wednesday afternoon. I do not want to come back here for the second segment to talk about, all right, the rubber game is coming up. All right, baseball later tonight. We'll see what happens. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with more than 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections. Then you watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. And PrizePicks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including Texas, Georgia, and right here in California. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less with PrizePicks. Do you know what it is? It's really that easy. Hey, what is your hub for all your sports news? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you to bring you the biggest sports stories. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channel app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Okay. All right. Let's be honest about the game that took place on Tuesday. Yeah, it stunk. It stunk. It stunk that the game of musical chairs that was going on in baseball landed with the A's. Maybe the A's should not have taunted the Chicago White Sox before the game by playing Taylor Swift's 22. Maybe they shouldn't do that. I mean, it was kind of funny that they did, but it kind of blew up in their face, didn't it? So the A's are the team that finally allowed the White Sox to win a game after the All-Star break. And they were one loss away from making it the longest streak in American League history. And instead, they're just tied with the 1988 Baltimore Orioles. And, you know, I mean, it's bound to happen. But when the White Sox took the 2-0 lead, I thought, this is fine. This is fine. And Geloff hit the home run, and I was like, this is fine. But here's the deal. Benintendi hit that home run, the 2-run homer. And then there was the wild pitch, and then Andrew Vaughn's single. And I had mentioned this, and I kind of warned you all. I warned all of A's-dom that the pitcher who was going for the White Sox was not a bad one. Jonathan Cannon, and he pitched well. He pitched well. He pitched 6 innings. He struck out 5. He led up the home run to Zach Geloff, and that was it. That was really it. And you know what? I mean, tip your hat to the worst team in baseball. But, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say it didn't sting. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, boy. Yeah, I wanted to see, and the A's lost a chance to pick up half a game on the Angels because the Angels are playing the Yankees right now, and they were rained out. They could have picked up a half game and crept a little bit closer. Now the White Sox have raised their game, so they are only 60 games under 500. Well, the A's are now 21 games under 500, which is better than 60, I will grant you. But it was a frustrating game because the A's had some chances. It's not like the A's were, totally busted. Now, they got a pair of hits from Andujar, a pair of hits from Rooker, and, of course, the home run by Geloff. But here's the deal. Other than a Langoliers walk and a Schumann walk, that was all the offense they got. And so, reviewing, they didn't allow the big run, the big inning to the White Sox. The White Sox got a pair of 2-run innings, which stunk, but it wasn't like a big runaway inning. The A's did not make any errors. They did have 2 wild pitches, one resulting in a run. And their only run came from a home run. So what went so well the other day kind of blew up in their face a little bit today. What went so well the other day in terms of manufactured runs, getting those runs across, creating opportunities, didn't happen today. Can't blame Rooker. Can't blame Andujar. So Oddly, and this is what I certainly didn't want to see happen in the White Sox series, the A's are finding themselves in a rubber match game. This, you know, they could have lost last time. I mean, I guess it could have been worse, but they're going to be playing a day game on Wednesday. And you're probably hearing this on Wednesday afternoon because that's the idea of what I'm going to be doing here. We're going to just jump right in. Martin is pitching his, he has what I call a Slurpee ERA. It's 7.11. Estes has pitched well recently, and so here we go. It's 12:30 in the afternoon tomorrow, and we got to hope that Estes and the A's dust themselves off. You know, you don't want to have you don't want to suddenly have the White Sox having a winning streak on you, and just focus. The White Sox threw their best pitcher, and they had a player in Benintendi who wasn't that long ago was a pretty good player for the Red Sox, made that great catch in the playoffs in 2018, and was a Yankee killer during his time with Boston and with Chicago. But here we are. It's time to dust yourself off. And, you know what? This whole thing would feel a lot better if just somewhere in that 21 game losing, if they had like 2 10-game losing streaks and like somewhere in the middle, they won a game. But 21 games tied. Oh, why didn't they break the record? Because they beat the A's. I'm not saying the A's are going to have to live with that for the rest of their life, but it's not going to be easy. All right, well, look at what are you going to do? There's 162 games. You're going to lose a bunch of them. You're going to win. Even the White Sox are going to win from time to time. So what you got to do is in about 14 hours from where I'm recording this right now, dust yourself off, throw Stomper some peanuts, and play a day game. And let's see some of you out there, folks. And let's see, maybe, just maybe, we'll see if the A's can pull out a series win. You know, against the White Sox. Order supplies from the website that's made for skilled trades. Find thousands of parts from hundreds of brands in just a couple of clicks at SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com gives you 24/7 access to a huge selection of plumbing, h-vac, and electrical supplies with fast delivery anywhere in the United States. Need help with an order? Get industry-leading after-sales service from their friendly and knowledgeable customer support team. Talk to a real person every time. There's great news for plumbers, technicians, and contractors. Being a pro has its perks. Trade industry professionals can join their free Trade Master program for free shipping, serious discounts on every order. Over 100,000 pros already trust the Trade Master program to deliver results. Apply for your membership today and get a competitive edge on every order at supplyhouse.com/TM. Save money and time when you order online. Order plumbing, h-vac, and electrical supplies from supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Hey, this is a reminder that Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Now it's available on the Amazon Fire in the free Fire TV channel app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channel app. Well, let me tell you something. The A's were the beneficiary of a mind-bogglingly, easy for you to say, mind-bogglingly, there you go, a mind-bogglingly stupid managerial decision. The White Sox had the A's spinning like a top, wobbling. But like the top at the end of Inception, it didn't totally wobble over. Why? Because of a bullpen decision. The White Sox threw Davis Martin, who I joked about the other day that he had a Slurpee type of ERA in that it was 7.11. And I thought, well, okay, The A's lost that game 2, but they're going to come back and they're going to face this guy who is basically a relief pitcher who's starting because they trade Eric Fetty. Well, Davis Martin was beguiling the A's, and for the first 4 innings, he was throwing a freaking no-hitter. They finally got a couple runners on in the 5th, but couldn't cash in. And then they got out of a jam in the 6th. And in essence, the A's couldn't build a rally, and they looked like they were flailing. And it looked like this guy had their number. Through 6 innings, Davis Martin, 27-year-old relief pitcher, and let's go through stuff. Through 6 innings, he allowed 2 hits, 1 walk, struck out 4, which shows that he was doing things with a sense of economy. He wasn't just blowing people away. And through 6 innings, he threw 82 pitches. 8-2. In a lost season for the White Sox, with him absolutely dealing, the A's couldn't figure him out. He had just barely passed 80 pitches. He's 27 years old, and this is the end of the year. We're delving deeper into August, and he is absolutely giving a sucker punch to the A's at this point, and they could walk out of here after a humiliating 21-game losing streak. They could walk out of Oakland with a series win, with a series victory to turn it around. How few times? Hell, they won 3 games in all of July, and they could walk out of Oakland with almost matching their July win total. And tomorrow, guess what they have? Nothing. They have a day off. They could have won 2 games, and then they're heading back to Chicago to play the Cubs, where the animosity between Cub fans and White Sox fans is going to be high. And if the White Sox came in, okay, we got a flight back, early flight back. Remember that, Sacramento fans, early flight back, August game. Try doing that in the Sacramento sun. And to be able to go, because I say, hey, look we had a long losing streak. We just won a series. And won a series against, the A's. But the A's were the best record in the American League in July. So what did they do? They lifted him. He wasn't in trouble. He wasn't gassed. And the A's couldn't do piddly-poo against him. And they sent in Touki Toussaint. Touki Toussaint, who I didn't even know was still cashing a check. Yes, I understand. All Major League Baseball players are tremendously talented. You get to the major leagues, fine. But it's not like Touki Toussaint, who's, by the way, his ERA right now is, let me double check, in the 8s. Immediately came in. The A's immediately rallied. He, in 1/3 of an inning, let up 2 hits and 1 walk, was charged with 3 runs. He's charged with a blown save and the loss. And the A's, in front of, what was the crowd today? Nearly 7,000. I'll round up. Nearly $7,000. Saved the series. They won the series. Yes, it would have been nice to get the sweep, but it would have been great for the White Sox psyche to win a series and get on the long flight back to Chicago to face the Cubs, going, we just won a series. All right, we're on a winning streak. Things could look up. And someone has to explain to me, I'm not sad they made the move because it led to an A's victory. And, conversely, the A's have tomorrow off. Why do they have tomorrow off? The A's have tomorrow off because they're flying to Canada, and they're going to be playing the Blue Jays soon. And to go take that flight from Oakland to Toronto, and knowing the A's is probably a connecting flight through Nebraska, Miami, and maybe Cancun. But to go on that flight going, geez, we just lost the series to the freaking White Sox. Instead of, hey, we won the series. And the last game was a come-from-behind victory. Boom. There you go. There's a positivity going on there. And not just that. They got good pitching today. Estes wasn't his best. He let up 6 hits in 5 innings. But here is the key. Estes, Klein, McFarland, Ferguson, and our pal Miller, 0 walks. 0 walks. He let up the home run to Benintendi, and so that allowed for the 2 runs, but no walks. And I like this about the A's. Yeah, they let up 7 hits. They didn't walk about it. They did hit one. Rooker got hit. Did they? I don't think did they hit. Yeah, they did get a. Did they get a hit by pitch? I thought they did. Oh, who do I know? I don't know, and neither do you. I thought they did for a second. No, I guess they didn't. Rooker got hit by a pitch. I thought the A's pitcher did, but it doesn't matter. They didn't walk anybody. And they let up the 2-run home run to Benintendi, and that was it. No big inning for Chicago. And yeah, tied for the longest losing streak in the history of the American League ended on Oakland soil. Fine. But it would have stunk to fly to Toronto going, holy Toledo, this is not good. And by the way, I know we're all supposed to be Yankee haters, and I get it. I'm a native New Englander, but the Yankees beat the Angels 5-2 in the opener of that doubleheader, and they're going to be playing Game 2 pretty soon. By the way, because Cleveland's getting punched in the mouth by Arizona today, all the people, and I was getting on Cashman and everyone too, we're talking about they got to do something. They got to do something about them. As of this recording, the Yankees have the best record in the American League in August, and people are still calling for everyone to be fired there. Different world. But, hey, they won the series. It was a little harder than it should have been, and they got a little bit of help from Chicago pulling a pitcher who was on a roll. He should call Blake Snell. Really, why not at least have him come out in the 7th? Why not say, hey, they haven't been able to do anything with him? Here you go. No, we got to have Touki Toussaint. Because when you have Touki Toussaint, you don't let him just rot in the bullpen. I don't get it. Neither do you. Doesn't make any sense, but here we are. Hey, the A's won the series, and there you go. I have a couple interesting shows coming on because there's no game tomorrow, and there's no game on Thursday, and the Friday game's not going to be till later. So there you go. But I have a couple interesting shows, including answering some of your questions from online, and I have an interesting guest coming on for the Friday show. But thanks for listening. Hey, good job, A's. Win the series you're supposed to win. And the reason I brought up the Angels score is if the Yankees wind up sweeping that series, then the A's will climb to within 2 games of the Angels. That will be interesting. If the Angels lose the nightcap, the A's will only be 3 games back of the Angels in the loss column. Focus on the Angels. Leapfrog the Angels. There's a chance they could have a 20-game improvement this year, the A's, and that's nothing to sneeze at. And neither is doing this podcast. So follow us at Locked On A's on Twitter or whatever it's called now on Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram, talking about an A's win. And that's what counts. This has been Locked On A's. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully.